So good morning. Thank you very much, Radcliffe Vascular, on the way to Leipzig and LINC to make a short stop in Frankfurt area in Langen, having the opportunity to introduce myself from a different city in a different role. I'm not anymore in Münster with Professor Torsello. I am in Frankfurt area in Langen as head of the Department of Vascular Surgery, and I'm more than glad to have the opportunity, the experience after 12 years working with Professor Torsello in Münster to bring in the Rhine-Main area in order to offer a different approach and also a good quality for the patients here. I have to be honest, I didn't expect to have so many patients with PADs and trophic lesions. So patients came to the hospital with excessive trophic lesions, with severe atherosclerotic occlusions of mainly below the knee arteries or distal SFA. And we were able to treat this group of patients sufficiently less invasive with different options and techniques of atherectomy, for instance, or with shockwave balloons. So bringing them the new innovative techniques in this area. In this context, I'm really impressed and I'm more than happy extending the field to offer also the entire spectrum and the entire arsenal of options, starting from the carotid, of course, artery, the triplets, the infrarenal aorta, the pararenal aorta, all thoracic disease, and of course coming to the foot arteries. Yes, there is no doubt that e-learning platforms, for example, like Vascopedia, are very, very important nowadays, giving the opportunity to many colleagues from the entire world to have access and have the possibility to provide information, to speak with experts of all the world, presenting cases, analyzing drawbacks or new techniques. In this context, I think it's very, very crucial also to have the possibility to have a homepage focusing on the treatment of triplets with hostile and challenging necks. There is no doubt that we have many options, and we have at meetings almost debates between the one or the other techniques, but the clinical reality is completely different. For different reasons, the one or the other technique is not possible to be used, and therefore it's important to have alternatives, to learn from experts about the limitations, about the strengths of the one and the other technique, and each physician is responsible to use the one or the other technique based on his skills, based on the infrastructure, and based on the local conditions of his hospital. In this context, I believe that homepage focusing on the treatment of hostile neck, including all available options, could be beneficial for the physicians and increase the evidence and the possibility to optimize the results. Of course, LINC is one of the biggest meetings regarding the vascular diseases. Also this year, I'm more than glad to be part and present new evidence in the topics of the juxtarenal aortic aneurysms. In Münster, we have a huge experience with endovascular and open repair of pararenal aortic aneurysms. In this context, we conducted a study focusing on the re-interventions and also on the costs and cost effectiveness of fenestrated and chimney endografting. And for first time, we will present the late outcomes, but also the impact of the re-intervention on the costs, analyzing finally the cost effectiveness of chimney and fenestrated endografting. I'm more than glad also to present in the section of PADs my experience with the treatment of atherosclerotic lesions in the popliteal artery using the orbital atherectomy system. I think the involvement of the popliteal artery is always challenging because up to now we don't have robust evidence about the superiority of the one or the other stent in this area. And if we have an option to avoid to deploy a stent in the popliteal artery, would be beneficial. So my preliminary experience with the orbital atherectomy is very positive, avoiding the additional use of stenting. I'm more than glad also to participate in different meetings about the treatment of hostile necks. There is no doubt that the debate about the use or the avoidance of drug-coated balloons for claudicants will still be an interesting and hot topic at LINC. And in this context, I would like to highlight our study, the first real-world data analysis, which we published last year in September, evaluating the long-term follow-up of claudicants who underwent drug-coated paclitaxel balloons versus POBA, and we didn't observe any statistical significant difference regarding the mortality. So it was in contradiction with the Katsanos meta-analysis after a sophisticated statistical evaluation and propensity score analysis to match homogeneous groups. So there is no doubt that this is an interesting topic. We will see what is now the latest evidence, the latest recommendation, but there is no doubt that this topic will be also this year one of the main interest topics of the future meetings.